Hi, I'm Alex, the curator of Caverna Draconis, and this time I would like to take you to the music antechamber. Have you ever wondered about our classic notation of music? Sheet music certainly did not fall ready-made from the skies, so probably there isn't anything metaphysical about it. It rather seems that there was more of a historic process where notation of music was tailor-made to cater to the contemporary needs of those who were interested in writing down music and those who wished to read it. So let's go to work and dig a bit deeper. The origin lies in jotting down pitches by their respective names, and since music was considered something beyond earthly matters, notes were named after cosmic phenomena like stars, planets, etc., which were thought to be related to the respective pitches. Later, in ancient Greece, pitches got their letter names, although we might argue that the very beginning of this concept could be found in Babylonia. You know, these cuneiform things, but I'm afraid this could cause an overflow of our nutshell at hand. Anyway, letters in ancient Greece were used for any academic purpose, so not only language wise, but also for everyday representation of numbers, and even in mathematics, trigonometry, geometry. So it was a little step towards considering letters as being fit for the purpose of writing down music. Here we have the beautiful example, the Song of Sikelos, where we can see very clearly how the notation of the melody is closely connected to the lyrics. This is the original. Now we have some, this is a bit clearer. As a part of the code, letters were turned occasionally to a horizontal position and also furnished with additional signs and accents to provide better specifications as regards pitching. By the way, we can still find these additional signs like accents and diacritics even in nowadays written languages. In Greek language, by the way, they were drastically reduced by law in 1982, but let me try to stick to the topic. Right. Apart from its sound quality and actual context within a given melody, practically a single note is determined by two parameters: pitch, whether relative or absolute, which then was denoted by letters, and duration. So this is for you, geometry lovers. As long as the parameter of duration was determined by the rhythm of the language, the flow of the melody came just naturally, and nobody needed to bother about pulse since the meter was already inbuilt. I might do one about ancient meters. Should you be interested, just let me know in the comment section. Basically, from a pragmatic point of view, this way of writing down music served the purpose of preserving and memorizing melodies that were already known and thus preventing them from getting lost. Like a reminder, so the two parameters as mentioned before, pitch and duration, were not that precisely defined and thus allowed for quite some uncertainty, especially when it came to instrumental music. This, though, got remedied with the beginning of the use of lines. We could speculate that this idea or invention could be credited to the concept of string instruments, which by then had been already around for quite some time, just by illustrating or representing a string by drawing a line. So, by drawing a single line, already three pitches could be noted down with, well, certainty. Quite a breakthrough, which then led to the increase of the number of lines. To bypass confusion, these lines then were colored like red for F, green or yellow for C, and sometimes green for A. Coming to think of it, next time when you have the opportunity to get close enough to a harp, try to have a look at the strings and then tell me about it. Here, I must mention Guido Aretino's or Guido di Arezzo, born in AD 980, who, after having spent some time experimenting along, established the use of 4 lines and included the application of a fixed color code. Red for F, yellow for C, and between them a black line for A and another black line either on top or at the bottom of the system. So, the interval of a third in between the lines was determined, a convention which is still being applied, but nowadays we are supposed to know. A stave consists of 5, usually black lines. But still, there remains some uncertainty as regards pitch, since the lines show us only the intervals between the notes, and an increase in coloring didn't seem to provide a sustainable solution. And again, Guido Aretinos came up with an invention, and again it's still in use. I'm talking about clefs. Namely, these things we are used to see at the beginning of every stave, and we have been told to observe them, because they show us the position of C, F, or G, respectively. Mr. Aretinos came up with 9 clefs, a number which fortunately got reduced in the course of history, and nowadays there are only 4 clefs in use, of which 2 are almost obsolete. I will certainly dig deeper into clefs in the coming vid. So, the clefs indicate the position of C, this would be alto, respectively tenor clef, F, bass clef, and G, indicated by the treble clef. So, and here they are, treble, bass, alto, tenor. Tenor is really obsolete, and the alto clef is only used for writing down music for viola. Right, so the pitch is properly presented. It can be even adjusted by adding accidentals, which move the note in question by half a step without having to leave the line or space. But there still remains the duration of the note that has to be seen to. The need for being precise when it comes to duration, or shall we rather call it now the rhythmic value of notes, arose definitely during the 13th century, when one-part music developed into a more polyphonic concept. So, out of necessity, the now different parts had to fit into the musical texture. A kind of standardization came into existence where the duration of individual notes was put into relation with each other. At the beginning, there were 4 symbols: maxima, longa, brevis, and semibrevis. Maxima longa, self-explanatory. Brevis, short in Latin. Anything academic and cultural within the range of Latin Christianity was connected to Latin language in those times. Semibrevis literally means half short, meaning shorter than short by half of its shortness. Right, based on this, 2 or 3 longae made a maxima, 2 or 3 brevis made a longa, and the semibrevis was rather a free agent, like a kind of grace note, if we may say so. There was a triple measure by 3 counts, which was called perfect. Guess why? Exactly, it has something to do with the idea of trinity, whereas the double measure by 2 counts was called, you got it exactly, imperfect. And here we meet the precursor of time signature, which as a topic deserve a bit on their own. Later on, 2 more values got introduced, minima and semi-minima. You see, everything nicely in Latin. Since 1430, notes were not any longer written like little black tetragons, but appeared as frames. Around 1600, the semibrevis became a plain circle in the further course. Maxima, longa, and brevis become obsolete, and the use of signs for rests that corresponded to the note values, bar lines, and ties got established. Finally, in the 17th century, all notes became round, and we can safely state that not a lot has changed since then, be it in handwriting with a quill on parchment or as a computer printout. I hope you found this interesting. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for your time. See you soon at Caverna Draconis.